I am here today as part of the Culture Connects Ottawa Valley Reads program, and I would like to talk to you today about Rue by Thuy. Kim is a Vietnamese-born Canadian writer, and at the age of 10, her and her family fled Vietnam in order to escape the communist regime. They spent 4 months at a refugee camp, United Nations run refugee camp in Malaysia, where a Canadian delegation actually selected her parents for refugee status based on the fact that they were able to speak French. So they came to Canada, landed in Granby, Quebec, and later settled in Montreal, where Kim still lives to this day. Kim herself has had an amazing career. She's a linguist, lawyer. She owned a restaurant, obviously a writer. She has been involved in media hosting, and does speaking engagements now all over the world. Her she also worked, I think, as a translator, and she was asked by the Canadian government to go back to Vietnam at one point to work on special projects there. So she's had an amazing life journey. The book Rue actually won the French Language Fiction Award, Governor General's Award in 2010, and is being made into a movie. The book itself is quite short. So it is, just check. It is 141 pages and short chapters, as you can see. However, her writing is incredible. It's compelling. It really pulls you in. It is so just vibrant. It has, I believe her writing has been described, and I think it might be on the back of the book actually, as poetic and powerful, was one of the reviews. And that, I think, is a really great way to say it. There's so many comparisons, whether it's comparing languages, family dynamics, politics, descriptions, love. It's just constant. I've kind of marked a few of them that definitely stuck out to me. And one of them was, she talks about her first teacher in Canada, and that she walked with them, the 7 youngest in the group of Vietnamese, across the bridge that led to the present. She watched over our transplantation with all the sensitivity of a mother for her premature baby. We were hypnotized by the slow and reassuring swaying of her shapely hips, her round and generous behind. Like a mother duck, she walked ahead of us, asking us to follow her to the haven where we would be children again. Simply children, surrounded by colors, drawings, trivia. I will be forever grateful to her for giving me my first desire as an immigrant, to be able to sway my bum the way she did. That's just an example of her writing. It's a book that will definitely need to be read more than once. I read it all the way through. I actually also listened to it on Audible because she actually reads. It's in her voice, and even then, I feel like every time I hear it, I'm missing these really important elements that she includes. And I've learned so much about the Vietnamese experience that I had no idea about. I had absolutely no knowledge of what they went through. And she talks about the boat that took them from Vietnam to Malaysia, and all of the memories that left on her, and the experiences. And it's very vivid and very striking. Another passage that stuck with me and has made me really kind of think a bit is, she writes, as a child, I thought that war and peace were opposites. Yet I lived in peace when Vietnam was in flames, and I didn't experience war until Vietnam had laid down its weapons. I believe that war and peace are actually friends who mock us. They treat us like enemies when it suits them, with no concern for the definition or the role we give them. Perhaps, then, we shouldn't take too much stock in the appearance of one or the other to decide our views. I was lucky enough to have parents who were able to hold their gaze steady, no matter the mood of the moment. I thought about that a lot, about the idea of war and peace, about in a world, especially today, that's so divided on so many things, how we get our opinions and our idea and our knowledge and what we really know and how much we don't know. That was very all of her writing I find incredibly powerful. The other one, and I won't read the passage, but she talks about the women who worked in the rice fields and how she remembers the elderly women being so bent over from years and years of working in the fields. And she remembers one lady who was so bent over that she had to actually walk downstairs backwards because she couldn't straighten up enough to be able to see where she was going when she went frontwards. She also talks about a woman who died, and she remembers the death because it was awful, and she actually she lost her footing while her using the toilet, and it's just awful. And her descriptions, they just stay with you. They're very powerful. And I learned a lot. I learned so much reading this book. Another theme that runs throughout the book is love and how people show love and how culturally, individually it's expressed. And she talks about in Montreal, she saw a Vietnamese grandmother ask her 1-year-old grandson, and I can't pronounce it, but she translates the phrase, which contains just 4 words, 2 of them verbs, to love and to carry. And literally it means love, grandmother, carry where. The child touched his head with his hand. I had completely forgotten that gesture, which I'd performed 1,000 times when I was small. I'd forgotten that love comes from the head and not the heart. Of the entire body, only the head matters. Merely touching the head of a Vietnamese person insults not just him, but his entire family tree. That is why a shy Vietnamese 8-year-old turned into a raging tiger when his Quebecois teammate rubbed the top of his head to congratulate him for catching his first football. Again, it just talks about how much we don't know about each other and how much we have to learn. And I learned a lot from this book. I recommend it. I think it was a bestseller for a reason. I think it won the Governor General's Award for a reason. And I hope that if you do read it, that you enjoy it as much as I did. Thank you.